Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Andi. Check it out! We got a work table. We don't just have that folding table that we have used for so much longer than I intended. Today is the inaugural adventure of the workbench. The very first time we are going to have used it for anything. And the first thing that we are going to make on it is, Chad?
A yarn swift.
That's right. That's right. Obviously,
so it's still yarn related, fiber related.
Yes, it's still fiber related. Obviously, I already have a yarn swift. It's just I think they're called Amish yarn swifts, not an umbrella swift. And it works fine. Still going great, but it's currently occupied by someone else's yarn project. And I need to be able to have a swift for some yarny stuff of my own. So I thought today we'd go ahead and we would make me a second one. It also is going to make my life a whole lot easier when I need to wind mini skeins, because then instead of winding them on a nitty knotty, I can just have one swift here, and just wind like that. It's the dream.
You put a third swift in there, and you can make it all complex and like a Rube Goldberg
Why would I do
yarn
that?
winding process.
Why would I do that?
Keep it interesting.
Keep it interesting. You go for that. If you want to do that, you go for that. For today, I just want to make a very basic, simple cross-arm yarn swift. Nothing too complicated, just simple.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, because it has been a while since I've done any serious woodworking, and I figured let's go ahead and ease into it. The plans that we are using today are ones that I found on Instructables. They are by Crafty Diversions. So useful, portable tabletop yarn swift for winding yarn. Just because they're just a basic one, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Very simple. We already went out and got our supplies. Chad, would you like to tell the viewers what we have in the way of supplies?
We have two 1x1 dowels. Square dowels here. Yeah. And then also two, I think these are 3/8 inch round dowels.
I have the list right
3/8
here.
inch by 4 feet.
Yeah.
These will be for the pegs. So cut. We do have the hardware, which is the hex bolt and the washer and the nut. And then also we have the 1x2 poplar, which will serve as the feet.
Okay. First thing that we need to do is we need to mark out and measure on our boards where we're going to be cutting. Okay. Now we are not actually going to have to do any cutting on these two. According to the plans that we got, it actually calls for 1 6-foot long 1x1 board. But we happen to find these 1x1 3-foot long board. They were in the dowel section at Lowe's, and it saves us a cut, so we don't have to worry about that.
A little chiseling now.
It was going to happen anyway. All right, so we do need to mark out and measure on this board where we need to cut. Y'all come on in and we will get started on this project. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is mark the cuts for our 2x1, and these are going to be the legs for the swift.
Right.
So what length do I need to mark these two, Chad?
16 inches. Correct?
Okay. All right, so.
Gotta be a 16.
And one of the things that's nice about this project is it doesn't have to be perfect. So it is a good refresher project for us. Okay. And I need how many of these?
2.
2. Okay, so one from that end and one from this end.
Is there a particular reason you're taking them off the end?
Because if I were to just measure 16 inches here and then from this pencil line down another 16 inches, it wouldn't be 16 inches for the second one, because you have to bear in mind the thickness of your saw blade. Fingers away from the saw blade.
Yep. foot.
Took it right off at the pencil mark.
Awesome.
Fingers clear?
Yep, fingers are clear.
All right. All right, our legs are cut. Next thing we need to do, we already got arms that are the correct length, but we need to cut notches in the center so that when they go across like this, they lay flush instead of up on each other like that.
Okay, find the centers of the arms lengthwise.
Unfortunately, I can't do this the way you do with a piece of paper or a piece of fabric. I can't just fold it in half. So I will just bring out measuring tape. This is
36.
36 inches long.
Okay, so
always a good thing to double check the measurements of any wood or anything that you get, because it might not be what it says on the label, especially thicknesses and widths. Or if you get like 2x4s, 2x4s are not actually 2 inches by 4 inches. It's different.
Okay, so you're gonna find the center.
Okay, so that is 18.
Okay, and then you're gonna mark out a ½ inch to either side of that as well.
Okay, so that's 17.5 and no, 18.5.
Okay.
Okay, and I need to do that on the other one as well.
You will, yes.
18, 18.5, 17.5.
Now that you've got these measured out, this defines the area that you're going to chisel out.
Right.
To make the place for the inner hook. You also need to measure down a ½ inch on each side because that's how deep you're going to go.
Yeah, I know these are probably not perfectly square, but it'll be good enough for this.
Okay. Now, you're going to take a small little hand saw and basically put notches in here.
Okay.
Down to that depth, down to this ½ inch depth, from 17.5 to 18.5.
Okay. So I guess I do need some sort of a
straight edge.
This workbench came with a built-in vise.
Almost like you planned it.
I did. Which I'm going to use to clamp this in and hold this while I cut these notches out. Now, I'm not going to be cutting all the way through. I'm just cutting down to that pencil mark. And I'm going to start this, but it might be Chad taking over. I've got a coping saw. And just going to be cutting in a series of cuts all the way across the length.
This is the part with the elevators.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Chad take over now.
You're like, meanwhile, I'm going to the store and coming back to the table saw.
No. I'm just gonna stand over here. we have our notches cut in, and we're gonna use our chisel to knock them out. So I'm gonna put one of them to the side. I do have a separate board here.
Protect the tabletop.
You may remember it from all of our adventures. Just to protect the surface of the workbench, so I don't go putting things in it. So I'm going to try doing this first, but it may come that Chad is the better choice for this as well, because I've never done this. You ever done this, Chad?
Nope.
Okay, well, first time for everything. That's why we call it adventures.
First time's a charm, right?
That's right. Oh, not bad. And you see, that's why I put the board down there. So right straight into it. Not bad. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like this.
I'll never see the chisel again.
Oh, what'd you get the chisel for, right?
Yeah. Chiseling things.
Okay, maybe not the straightest, cleanest, best chiseling ever, but I'm still pretty proud of it for my first time. We will straighten this up here and clean it out really good, but now I'm going to do... Did you want to do the next one?
No, you can do it.
He's going to let me do this one too.
You're having fun.
I am so having fun.
And because I'm keeping on hands away, you're not hurting anybody.
That's right. But if you did it, it might work better. Nah.
Nah. You're the maestro with the chisel. There we go.
Oh! Check that out! Not bad, huh?
Nice.
Still got a lot left in there to come out, but you know.
But it's a quick start.
Yeah. That one came out really good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, now of course,
Try to fit it first, right?
I don't think they're gonna fit. We definitely need to square up this one here.
Which one?
Definitely this one, because you can see it's
You want a little rhomboid?
I did, and it needs to be square, so we're gonna have to use the saw for that. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, sand these to make the chisel out point smooth, and then we'll be ready to fit them together. Quite a bit of chiseling, sawing, a run to the hardware store to get a rasp, and rasping and sanding later, and we've got a nice flush finish. These go together really nicely. I'm pretty proud of this. But we're gonna put these aside for now, and we're gonna switch over to work on the legs. Technically, the next thing that the plans have us do is drill the holes in these, but we wanna work on the legs next so that we can let the feet glue to the boards overnight. Voila! So I would say let's start with just roughing up the wood a little bit with some sandpaper. Okay. Make sure it's got plenty of grip width. Then we've got some wood glue and some clamps, and we can clamp them and let them sit overnight to glue. Okay?
Which one do you want to be the base? Does it matter? Do you care?
It does not matter.
Just
So
on the side.
one gets set to the side. Yeah, we only need one. Yeah, just got a little bit of a tooth to it now. You can definitely tell the difference. So let's go ahead and wipe them clean. It's not really going to matter, but okay. All right. Did you want to do this?
You can do it.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I just keep taking away everything, don't I? All right, now I'm going to make a point to, we do have a little bit of tear out here on the ends where I cut them. Kind of impossible to avoid that. So I'm going to try to put it to where the end with the most tear out is on the outside, just to make it a little bit easier for us later on when we're sanding it. The legs have been sitting in these clamps for, I don't know, about a week now.
They should be set.
They should be set. Things happen, you know, life happens. But we're going to go ahead and take the clamps off now. And see how the feet are holding on here. Helps if I turn them the right way. No, I was turning it the right way.
Release the...
Oh, I didn't have to do it on the other one.
No, that was far enough up. You didn't have to.
How do I do it?
Push down.
Okay.
And then it should separate now. Can I help you? Ready?
I've been outwitted by the clamp. But the feet are on here really good.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. So.
And look at that. It sits flat.
Yes, it does sit flat.
Awesome.
Looking good, looking good. Pretty pleased so far. Now we need to drill the holes for the bolt that goes through the two legs and then through the arms of the Swift. We're going to start with the legs here, and I've actually clamped both of them together so that I should only have to cut once, and that will help to make sure that they are lined up properly, although if it's a little bit off, it's not going to be the end of the world. We also made this simple jig to help keep the drill bit straight so that we're not going sideways into it, into the wood. And we need to measure this out to the halfway point. The legs are 16 inches, which means our halfway point is going to be 8. And just...
Guess we didn't need to buy that square, did we?
Well, this is not precision, so... And then just sort of eyeball about the halfway point. Because again, this doesn't have to be precision. And really, I think for this one, we could probably just eyeball it as well. Does it say that we need to measure?
Find the center.
Okay, to find the center, draw a line diagonal to diagonal. And then another one here, diagonal to diagonal. And where they meet, that's our center. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and just clamp this down to our wood.
Spinning, I guess.
Just to make it a little bit more secure. All right.
This is what they recommend doing. They want you to drill a 3/8 inch hole through there. They recommend, since the wood is so thin, start with a smaller drill bit first to drill the pilot hole. So I've got you an 11/64 in here.
Okay. Which makes sense, because otherwise, if you're drilling a larger hole, then you can end up splitting the wood. So it's kind of like drilling a pilot hole, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And now I'm going to put my drill bit down here on our center spot and just hold the jig here, and that will keep me from going backwards, forwards, left or right, just by keeping it up against it. All right, maybe slightly off center. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Oh, and so now we switch over to the larger one, huh? Okay.
We do.
And this time I'm not going to worry about using the jig because I've already got the pilot hole there. Have we gone all the way through? Nope, not yet.
There you go. You broke through.
I did. All right, here we go. No, here we go. Turn over this way. Here we go.
A little sturdier.
Yeah, I think so.
If we deviate or not from the directions, we're not 100% clear. So,
Okay.
But if you put it together like this, right? Mm-hmm. Coming up from the bottom side of this, you want to use this spade bit to create a big enough recess, just big enough for the head of the bolt to go through.
Okay.
But don't go all the way through the wood.
Okay. I've never used one of these before. Okay, so just like this.
Let me hold the other side down for you.
Are you sure you want to be close to me while I'm using this? I'm not sure I want to be close to me while I'm using this. Because there's nothing for it to hold into.
Well, the other option is we just have that be the bottom.
It's not pretty at all.
Luckily, it's the bottom, right?
Yeah. Whoa. That really just is not pretty.
Is that deep enough then?
I don't know. We'll have to see. That's not pretty at all. I think probably would have been better to use this first and then
drill the hole.
Drill the hole. Lessons learned. My father would be so disappointed.
Nah.
Nah. Okay, so do we know if that's big enough?
I'm looking for the bolt.
That's not even gonna fit it at all.
Nope.
Is this the right size?
Is that 1/2 inch?
Okay.
Now the other question is, was this in the right bin for a 1/2 inch bolt?
Oh, that's another question. I do not want to go
All the way through.
all the way through, and I am just...
You're about halfway through there, it looks like. So I would.
But it's not big enough around is the problem.
That's what it looks like.
Nope.
Nope.
See, it's just too...
The heck?
That bolt's got to be the wrong size or something.
Yeah.
That's not fitting at all.
Nah.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to have to run out to the store and get a different size bolt because those are not going to fit in these holes, apparently. I guess that means we'll be back.
Yeah.
We are not back from the store. We didn't even go to the store. It's been like, I don't know, 15 seconds since I stopped the camera because I decided to grab the bolt and see, can I get it to go through? And yeah, it goes through.
Definitely just stronger than me.
I don't know about that. I mean, it is admittedly a very tight fit, but it does go through. So we probably just need to clean it up a little bit. with some sandpaper. There we go. The head still does not fit down in that slot, but I am not going to try to do any more with that spade bit because it's just not going to, I don't think it's going to.
We can go with a larger spade bit, but
We don't have one that's just slightly larger than it, but what we can do is just, I'm just going to mark around the head. Because since we had already drilled the hole, there wasn't a lot for the spade bit to hold on to. So it was just kind of wobbling around and stuff. Because you can see that gap right there where it got away from me some. Yeah, we just need to clean it up to those pencil marks. A little bit of chiseling and sanding and rasping, and that'll clean that up. We still need to drill our holes into the legs for the pegs. Okay, so we can go ahead and set these aside. What marks do they recommend cutting or drilling at?
they recommend 4 to 6 holes on each arm. Okay? 1.5 to 2 inches apart. They don't recommend a certain starting point or anything like that.
Okay. I'm just clamping these two together so that it'll make it easier to mark them and have them equal. So if we start right here at 6, and then we go 8, 10, 12, 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then said how many?
4 to 6.
And 16. All right, now I'm gonna flip around and do the same on the other side.
6.
Yeah. 6, 6. All right.
Now here's the question.
Yes.
Are we on the right sides? Because we're not drilling all the way through.
We're on the right side on one of them.
One of them, yes. Whoops, a daisy.
Ah! Whoops. Can you give me the square? I am unconfident about some of these. We do actually have a square. I was just being lazy and not wanting to get it out.
You didn't have to open the drawer.
No, I had to have you open the drawer. Yeah, it's better.
Switch sides.
Yes, sir. All right.
Radio.
Now this, I do kind of want to try to get it to be I don't know if I can get it to be completely in the middle or not. You know?
But a little time measuring now is not going to hurt, right?
Nope. Measure twice, cut once.
Or drill once in this case.
Yep. Okay, and once again, we will be using our jig to help me make sure that I get this straight up and down as much as I can. All right, we've got all the small holes drilled in the arms. Now we just need to switch to the larger bit and drill these to the larger size. So, drill to the safety position. I'm not going to use the jig this time because these pilot holes should be enough to guide it, hopefully. All right. Whew. All of our holes are drilled into our arms, and you not see this later. Yeah, we had quite a bit of tear out, didn't we?
Just a bit, yeah.
Just a bit. Other than this one here, it's nothing really too bad.
A little sanding, a little scraping.
Yeah, we're just going to do a little bit of sanding on this, get it all cleaned up, and then we will be ready to stain and varnish it. Chad's got these all very nicely sanded. They're looking really good. We do have the places where the wood kind of splintered a bit when I was drilling the holes in. We went ahead and took those pieces out. We could have tried to, reinforce it or glue it down with some wood glue or something. But in the end, we decided just to go ahead and take those pieces out and have him sand it smooth, even though it left a groove. Because that way there's less chance of any yarn getting snagged or caught up under there. So it works, it's fine. And now we are ready to put some stain on these.
Oh, I thought you were cold.
Why?
Wearing gloves.
Oh God, no, not in this heat. It's the end of August. It is muggy out there today, y'all. Ugh. All right, so we are going to be using the jar's already open. The can's already open, so I can't pick it up and show you. But it is Minwax water-based wood stain. That it's a clear tint base that we had tinted to a nutmeg brown. I don't know how long ago, and apparently we never used it. So we're going to use it for this. And Chad has stirred it thoroughly for me. Now this is the kind that you brush it on and then let it sit for 3 minutes and wipe the excess off with a rag. So I do have a rag here. Keep your fingers crossed for me though. My apron needs to go through the wash, so I'm not wearing an apron. I'm living dangerously here, y'all. I do have everything up on this cardboard box, just to make sure we don't get any of the stain on the workbench or anything. So I've just got a little foam brush, and just gonna brush this on here. And of course, I did wipe this off with a damp cloth, all the wood, to get any little bits of sawdust off of here before applying this. Now, Chad, I do not have my watch on. Do you have your watch on?
I do.
Good, so you can tell me when 3 minutes has gone by.
Are you ready for me to start counting?
Sure.
Okay, it's 6:08.
All right. It's been 3 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the excess stain. on these first sides. Now that is a very nice color, isn't it?
You get nice coverage too.
Mm-hmm.
The grain still shows through.
Hmm?
The grain still shows through.
Mm-hmm. It's really nice. I like that color. Okay, so now we need to let this dry for at least 3 hours. High humidity can make it take longer. And yeah, we're in North Carolina at the end of August, and it is very high humidity. We had a thunderstorm last night, so very high humidity. So it might take longer, and then we will be able to come back and put on our first coat of polyurethane clear coat. We'll see you then. And hey, check it out. My hands are clean. Sweaty, but clean.
And nothing in your hair.
I wore gloves and I stayed clean. All right, we'll be back. It's been much more than 3 hours. We ended up letting this sit overnight. So now we're ready to start putting some polyurethane on this. I've got them sitting on these little pins, leveling pins for canvases. Just to keep them raised up off the cardboard as best I can so they don't stick to it. And I'm only going to paint like 3 sides.
In a manner.
In a manner. I'm only going to polyurethane 3 sides of it for now. And then once that's dry, we'll flip it over to the 4th side, let it dry. This is probably going to take more than 1 coat, possibly up to 3 coats. So one thing I want to make sure of though is that I do not want to get polyurethane down in these holes, at least not a lot of it, because if I do that, it's going to make the holes too small for the dowel rods to fit in. So when it's time to do these sides, not going to be worried about getting any polyurethane down in there. And if I get a lot down in there, I'm going to have to find, I don't know, a Q-tip or something to wipe it out with. Those 3 sides done. Once it's dry, at least to the touch, I'll flip it over to the 4th side, let it sit, and then we'll sand it, come back to the 2nd coat, probably a 3rd. All right, everything has been stained and polyurethaned, and now we are ready to assemble the Swift. Now we also did cut, well, I say everything's been stained in your polyurethane. Everything's been stained in polyurethane that's going to be, at least at this point. We did cut 4 little pegs from a dowel rod. These will go in these holes here. And we decided not to stain in polyurethane these because some of these holes are a little snug. You can see this one right here. You know, some of them, they're a really easy fit, but some of them are a little tight. Right? And if we put a coat of polyurethane on these, it's going to make that even harder for it to fit in there. It might not even fit at all. We don't want to risk that, so we're going to just go ahead and leave them as they are. The Swift that I've already got, the one that we bought years ago, this is exactly what the pegs were like on that one. Just cut from dowel rod, sanded smooth, no finish, nothing. And they also, for some of the pegs, are really snug, but over the years it's kind of compressed the ends where I put them in there so they fit a little bit better. So Who knows, maybe down the road I'll do something to finish these. But for now, these are gonna work just fine. As they are, we're not gonna do anything else with them. Okay, so first thing we need to do, we've got a bolt, a nut, and a bag of washers to use to put these together. Right, Chad?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. And what did the instructions say for how to put this together?
I'll make it match the picture.
Yeah. Luckily, I have put one of these together many a times when I'm putting my current one together. So that's not a problem if you know how to do this. All right, so we're gonna put the bolt in this way, and you can see why we recessed that hole when we drilled it. It's so that the head is recessed in there. It doesn't stick out. Otherwise, if it did, this would be very wobbly. It wouldn't sit flat. Okay, there we go. Feed that through here. You can see. Now, if we had cut this bottom leg shorter to match the inner opening on this one, then this could have just folded shut like that. I am not worried about it because these wouldn't fold anyway. All right, now these two go together, and as Chad noticed when he was sanding these, they have to go together a very specific way, because if you put them together like this, I don't know if you can see, the holes don't line up. See, it's not gonna go all the way through. That's because the hole is slightly off center, but because we drilled them at the same time, that's not gonna be a problem. We just turn it this way. Don't know if you saw me do that. It had been like this. Take it, turn it this way, and it fits perfect. We did end up opting for only 2 coats of polyurethane on these pieces instead of 3, because we didn't want to make any of the openings too tight. Like these pieces here, you can see they're a really tight fit now, just with the 2 coats of polyurethane, and they no longer fit together flush. It's not going to be a problem for using it. Just, you know, we didn't want to put a 3rd coat on and risk making it to where it would be a problem. Plus, they look really good like they are now. Next thing we need are some washers. And I'm going to start with 2. Now what we have to do is we have to put enough washers on here that it raises this up so it'll spin without hitting the legs here. The plans call for using 1 washer. We already test fitted this and that doesn't work. So yeah, 2 does it. Pretty good. All right. And then we just need to put the nut on the screw. And this is actually a different size bolt from what the plans call for. The one that we got to use for this was too long. This is the one that the plans called for, and you can see that's how far it sticks up above the Swift. I mean, that's like a good almost 2 inches, and that's just way too high. It's not necessary, so we ended up getting one that's a little bit shorter. How long is the one we got?
That's a 3-inch.
Yeah, 3-inch, and it works just fine. If we want, we can put a washer there. Not really necessary though. Now you'll notice that it's hard for this to spin because the legs keep slipping. So we're gonna make one other deviation from the plan. We picked up these anti-slip pads and we're gonna put them on the feet. There you go. Check it out. I'm going to add a couple more washers to this just to raise it up. These are still hitting those legs a little bit more than I like. So I've got 2 on there now. Add 2 more. See if I can fit a washer there. Yeah, there we go. That's a nice, nice spin. All right. Shall we test this? So yeah, if you've never used this kind of Swift before, this is how you do it. You just put the pegs in, right? I like to start with my pegs looser than I know that it's going to need to be. And Chad has kindly grabbed me a skein of yarn. He went for gloss lace weight from Knit Picks, which is 70% merino wool, 30% silk. Apparently, I'm not the only one in this family with expensive yarn taste. It's a little bit too tight, I think. This should be good. Okay, there you go. And then you would just go ahead and take the figure 8 ties off, put one end of it in your yarn winder, whether that be an actual ball winder or your hands. And then as it winds, this will spin and the yarn will just come off the skein from it. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to wind this yarn into a center pole ball right now. This is from our over dyeing stash, so I'm going to want to dye this first. I'm going to want it in a skein for that. So anyway, we have successfully made a yarn Swift. What'd you think? Chad, what do you think?
I think it turned out nice.
I do too. I don't even mind the uneven staining in it in places. You know, okay, I'm gonna have to be better on things like these legs where we glued them together. But in the future, I'm gonna have to do better on that. But honestly, I don't mind a whole lot because I think it gives it sort of an aged appearance. You know, like it's older, it's antique. It's been in the family for a long time, that kind of thing. Passed down generation to generation. I don't even know if other generations of my family knitted or crocheted. I'm sure somebody did. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed watching this adventure where we put our new workbench through its first project and built a yarn Swift from just wood and parts.
Yeah.
Not even like flat pack.
Nope.
So I am very proud of us. I think my dad would be proud.
You would.
Yeah. My dad was an incredible woodworker and he taught me how to do everything that I know on how to do woodworking. I will be sure to provide a link to the instructions, the plan for this yarn Swift down in the descriptions. In case you want to make one for yourself. Honestly, it was not difficult. You don't need a lot of fancy tools to make this. You don't even have to stain it in polyurethane if you don't want to. I just thought it would be nice to actually do that. And if you have any questions on what we did, how we did it, anything like that, drop them in the comments below. All in all, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day and we'll see you on our next adventure. Bye everybody. Say bye, Chad.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.